Well, my name's Jill Natras, and I have always, well, certainly since I became a Christian, felt a calling to spread the word of God, and that was, literally why I became a reader. At the time, I was running a youth group at my local church, and the incumbent approached me and said, had I considered reader ministry? And I was like, what in the world's that? And so I kind of, he explained it, and I did some more research, and I thought, well, yeah, that's what I feel like I'm being called to do, to spread the word of God. So I suppose my ministry evolved from being with the youth group to kind of like the whole congregation. And I mean, I've obviously had the interviews and the 3 years training. I mean, I started training when I was 26. I think it carried on from when I'd been training. I think I gradually evolved through the 3 years when I was training. When I started training, I started leading worship. Basically the liturgy of the word part of the service, and I suppose it evolved after that. I did sermons kind of like what started once a term, and then got gradually more often until how it is now, and I do them approximately every 3 weeks. I preach and I lead worship every other week. This involves kind of like basically from the liturgy of the word section of the Eucharist, and also like reading the gospel, laying the table, that sort of thing. And I also help lead Messy Church. I've got a 3-month rotation of who leads the collective worship for Messy Church. I also do that, and I normally persuade my daughter into helping me. Advantage of having a 6-year-old there. And then once a month we do a service which is called Still, which is quite quiet, contemplative service, and I normally help lead that with our APA, but also organise all the music for it. Both the incumbents I worked with have let me exercise my ministry. I've written services for Good Friday, I've written carol services. I preach in both churches, both parishes within the benefice, and this has only come about in the last 3 or 4 years, when there was a change in incumbent, and this has kind of like opened a whole range of different relationships, and change in my ministry, but also kind of like change because you have to change the sermons slightly, because one church is much more traditional, where the other church I've been going to since I was 7-year-old, so they know me inside out. And I'll be honest, at St James's, certainly with the congregation, they'll let me get away with experimenting and trying any style of sermon I like. I'm a teacher. I work for Gateshead Council, working on a one-to-one basis with pupils who can't attend school for a variety of reasons, quite a lot of them to do with anxiety and mental health, things like this, which I enjoy because I get a much closer relationship than you do when you have like a class of 30 and you have like 7 or 8 classes of 30 in a week. The relationships are much closer, it's much more, I suppose, open. I do consider that to be a vocation, particularly working on a one-to-one basis. So you've got to kind of like almost give part of yourself into the relationship, and vice versa. It's not a faith-based environment, but as a result of conversations that I have with my pupils, it inevitably comes up that I attend church. Just like it inevitably, particularly when on a one-to-one basis, it inevitably comes up that I've got a daughter. It just kind of like such a big part of your life that it just kind of comes up. And I think quite a lot of it I've used, certainly with one pupil who's doing English literature, and it impacts kind of so much on the literature and the way I view the literature, I think. So I kind of like, it comes across that way, and then inevitably it kind of like comes out that I attend church, and kind of And there's normally questions because they think reader and they think, oh, you read in church, okay. And that's, I think people, you know, in the secular society don't necessarily know what a reader is or does. It inevitably kind of like leads to quite interesting conversations with the pupils as well, and their opinions and things like that. Just give it a go. I mean, perhaps if you've got a willing incumbent, maybe like have a go and practice, in, you know, before actually going forward for reading ministry. So you could kind of experiment in that way, or perhaps in another church. I mean, I'll be honest, it can be kind of quite busy, my life, juggling church and full-time work, or more or less full-time work, and a 6-year-old and husband, and, you know, juggling life around, but life like that anyway. And I get quite a lot of fulfilment from the things that I do in church.